Mhm.
Ready?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Casual MMA podcast. We're going to go right on in on UFC 311. A lot of good fights, definitely a lot of things to talk about. So, to start off, we had Clayton Carpenter versus Tagir Ulanbekov. You know, Clayton came in undefeated and definitely just proved another again like the Russians just are going to keep coming and they're coming in really nice. And my goodness, you can't stop them. You cannot stop them.
Yeah, no, it's impressive what the Dagestanis are doing. Like every
Unbelievable.
division, there's more Dagestanis coming, either from Dagestan or countries next to them, and they're really taking over the sport. Like at this point, I think they should make their own league. It's like it's they're taking over the sport more than the Brazilians were 10, 15 years ago.
This really is like these mountain men are just bred just for fighting, and it's really unbelievable to see. And they're coming from all different parts of that kind of Russian, Middle Eastern like mix area. And
Hmm.
my goodness, yeah, it's just unbelievable. Next fight we had up on board was Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopaj. Ricky, this fool is just this guy's just way too old. He's been fighting, I think, UFC for quite a bit at this point, and one of these early prelim fights where you're not really too excited, but you want to see some finishes. We're getting a little bit more decisions than we thought, but yeah. And then the next fight we have to move on towards was Rinya Nakamura versus Muan Gafarov. And what are your
Hey
first
man,
thoughts on
the
that fight,
first the
Rumor?
first real Japanese prospect in the UFC. From my 7 years of watching it, we finally got a Japanese prospect, and he got exposed. He got exposed to a good striker. I think he still has a chance to be a champion and a GOAT of the sport. It's only one loss, and he learned a lot. So I in all of his fights, he's never dealt with this kind of power before. So
Hmm.
it's something he learned, and I think he's gonna come back stronger.
Yeah, I was watching the fight. I mean, Gafarov just came in guns blazing and did not stop for 3 rounds straight. I mean, whatever combinations we're looking for, head kicks, he was throwing it. And then I know they were talking about Rinya coming off a wrist injury where he decided not to get surgery and
Mhm.
kind of wanted to do was just home, resting. I don't know what this guy thinks he's like Tony Ferguson or something, but Rinya looked like a complete shell of what we had seen from, prospect wise and everything. We talked about these Japanese guys. We had Kai Asakura, but he came in right onto the championship fight and then just looked like garbage because what you're gonna get with Pantoja and all that, Kai's ground game's not developed. And then Rinya just, straight 3-time 30-27. There was no doubt that Gafarov completely outclassed him in this fight. I
Is
would like to
Gantarov
see Rinya get
Dagestani?
back in there. But yeah, Gafarov just looked a really exciting fighter, out of Tajikistan, this guy.
Oh,
I
okay.
think one of the only guys we've heard out of Tajikistan that's
Yeah.
got this type of game in him. So really exciting fight. Definitely interested
What's
to
with
see
these
more of
stands,
Gafarov.
man? All these people from stands, they're taking over the sport,
Dude,
but
the stands, they're coming in from all the stands. From all the stands they're coming in and you can't stop them.
not all the stands, not Pakistan,
Not
not every stand,
Pakistan,
but not
not
Pakistan,
Pakistan.
not from my home
Yeah,
country.
no, can we get some Indian guys or some Pakistani guys in there, please? My goodness.
Yeah, yeah. There's zero Pakistanis, one Indian guy. He'll fight in one, two
Yeah, I
weeks.
think I think Jubilee is fighting next week or something,
Yeah,
but
against another lightweight
the
prospect.
last fight just tanked him, bro. Just tanked him so bad.
I know. That was crazy, bro. Like he was winning the first two rounds, and then
Yeah.
the,
And then just
the,
got
the
barked at. Got barked at and just lost it.
fuck, man,
Oh,
it
shit.
sucked, dude. But yeah,
Yeah, it was so bad.
hopefully he gets it next week. He's fighting a prospect, so we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
we'll hope so.
We need more Indian fighters, man. It's like we got literally zero. He's our only hope.
Hmm.
UFC puts
Yeah.
so much advertising into this Angel Jubilee guy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because man, you got to put so much stock in one of our few fighters that's going to make it. And when you got a fan base like that, over 1.4 billion people, like you got to hit some type of market there. But
hmm,
that's the thing. When you push these young guys, these hot shots way too quickly, and
yeah.
they're just not even like, they're not even prepared for maybe a different type of experience in a fight. Like, I guess when you see a guy barking at you, yeah, it's like it definitely puts you out of the mode. But you're a UFC fighter, you got to be able to lock in and finish this fight. Like you were up 2 rounds, so I mean, yeah. But anyways, we'll go into the next set of fights. So we had Eileen Perez versus Cara Rosa, and
Fuck
good
that
fight
fight. Let's
overall. And
next fight.
Eileen Perez,
Fuck
we
what we
got the
played.
South American duo. Like, let's not go. I know you're gonna talk about Eileen Perez. We're not gonna go too far in to
Okay.
her out of the UFC lifestyle, what she likes to do. But I'll tell you what, right now, if you only saw her for what she did out of UFC, you would not think she fights like this. She is completely game, and she fought like she was fighting a Brazilian. She wanted her out of there, dude. She wanted her out of this fight, and yeah, good fight overall.
I
Rosa
wanted
definitely
them
had
out
some
of there, bro.
moments.
I was like, get me to the next fight. I was like, I was just on my phone. I was like, screw
Yeah,
this fight.
we would definitely want to see some finishes going. Like there's, of course, it's not like as completely dense in terms of skill and popularity wise in the women's bantamweight division. And just
Mhm.
all women's division. We definitely like to see it pick up some more. And you only got maybe a handful of elite fighters that are very worth watching for the I guess the less casual and more casual fans.
Right.
And we're gonna move.
And yeah,
Sorry, you
we'll
had
move on
anything?
to the Peyton Talbot fight. That's the next fight, right?
Yeah, there was a Grant Dawson Ferreira
Mhm.
and then Guskov Elikana. So Grant Dawson looked great in the fight, just wrestle fucking Diego Ferreira. Nothing more else to say than that. Diego Ferreira's old as shit. Kind of
Grant
annoying in that
Dawson's
fight.
mhm.
Yeah,
Grant
kind of
Dawson's got
annoying
a
in
good
that fight.
record,
I don't know
right?
if you sorry, go ahead.
No, Grant Dawson's got a really good record, right? Like last I checked, it was 21-2.
Yeah,
He's
he's
kind
23-2 right now. He's got a great record,
of
but he didn't, his record wouldn't reflect, I guess how diverse his skill should be in a fight.
mhm.
Because I definitely wanted to see some more. Diego's 34. It was kind of annoying during the fight. His corner was, my goodness, this was the loudest corner man I think I heard in a fight. This guy would not stop screaming to Diego Ferreira.
Uh-huh.
And definitely, and Diego did not listen whatsoever. He kept
Who
trying to
won that
wrestle him.
fight? Grant?
Yeah, he kept trying to wrestle him, and he would not get up. But overall, Grant, good job for Grant. I'd say definitely want to see some more diverse skill set. It's
Hmm.
just these lightweight guys that are just out of the top 15 that once they hit top 15, they're not going to be able to mix it up with these guys.
Yeah, yeah. I think Grant's biggest problem is last I checked, his age is like around 34. So like if he
Mm,
really wants to make a run at the belt, it should be now. And especially it's because he fights at the hardest division in the UFC. So
yeah,
I hope for this year Grant gets really active if he really wants to get the belt or at the very least be in the top five.
totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. I would
And
love to see, some more USA guys definitely up in that top
mm,
15. Just want to get some more people in the mix. Some new names, new faces, guys that we've seen, guys that we know maybe have some potential. And so definitely would love to see that more of.
yeah, and when I saw Grant's fight, as far as I know, he's more of a grappler, right? He doesn't.
Yeah, he was just
Mhm.
wrestling him the whole time. I think once he knew that Diego really had nothing to offer on the ground, he tried to just keep it at the ground for the most part because why risk it if Diego can, land some type of crazy chaos in the mix.
That's
So
true. That's
good
true.
overall. And then in the next fight we have Ogdan Guskov versus Billy Elikana. And we saw right at the end of the first round, Guskov was about to submit him, and then Billy got saved by the bell. And then Guskov just submitted him again. Just submitted him again. Said, "Listen, you didn't give me enough time. I'll do it again. I'll
What
do it
what
again." And
division
that's
is this?
exactly what happened. This was the light heavyweight to 205,
Got you.
and yeah, very very fun fight. Definitely like fun to see like some big guys 205 plus that can throw in some submission mix, crazy ass grappling. Definitely love to see that type of stuff.
For sure, for sure.
And,
Were any
and
of
then
them
I
prospects or not, or were they like
Definitely,
what?
definitely a few prospects. Like Guskov is 17-3.
Mhm.
From that fight, he's coming in 16-3, 17-3 now. Elikana had only lost one fight. He was 7-1 coming in. But that's what it. You got a guy from another stan, Uzbekistan. He's coming in. He's had more fights, probably had much more experience, and just yeah, he just out grappled him, showed him who's more superior in what facet of MMA, and that's just worked out. That just worked
Oh,
out for him. And so
that's
right before our featured prelim, Peyton Talbot, Ronnie Barcelos, we have Zachary Reese and Azamat Bekoev. Azamat Bekoev, this guy,
another
another Russian
stand.
guy. Yeah, another Russian doggy fighter.
Hmm.
And this guy did not wait at all for this fight to, uh, settle in. He went straight for it, knocked him out in the first round, I think 3 minutes in. And my goodness, what a fight that was. He came in right there, 19-3 on the record now. So these Dagestani guys, they're only losing, I think, to their like own type of people, just their own weaknesses, just their own wrestling at that point.
Hmm.
And these guys just, yeah, like we said, from the beginning of the card to the middle of the card to the end of the card, these guys are coming all over the place and they will not stop. They're going to
No,
keep
no.
birthing them just over and over again.
It's crazy, man. I don't know what they're doing over there, but it's
Mm-hmm.
working, man. It's working. But
Uh-huh.
on to the next fight. Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos.
Mm-hmm.
That fight had a lot of hype to it because Peyton was a big prospect.
Yes.
He's a prospect, like he's a prospect that's been a long time coming since Sean O'Malley. People were comparing him to Sean O'Malley with his knockouts and his interesting lifestyle outside of it. So yeah, so for Talbot to get exposed to Raoni Barcelos like that is kind of sad because the UFC really needed a new star. There's really no stars in the sport right now if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it. We had Sean O'Malley, then Merab, the decisionator, beat him. Um, I think the only one we have is Ilia Topuria. So yeah, it sucks that he lost. But if you only have one loss in your record, I still think you can be a star. I mean, look at McGregor. He has two. Sean had one loss too, even though it wasn't real. So I think Peyton will take this as a learning lesson and really work on his wrestling. Try
Mm-hmm.
to just try to game plan more. And yeah, I want to see him in there against someone like Cody Garbrandt, or maybe give him an unranked wrestler for him to get used to wrestlers. So, Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that Peyton, coming in, like you said, like the odds were definitely for him. I see, watching the odds. He was a minus 1,300 favorite
Oh, geez, that's
pre-fight
crazy.
odds. And so, sorry to a lot of people that probably lost a lot of money or put some money on Peyton Talbot. And if you bet on Raoni Barcelos, you won a lot of money, guys. I'm telling you. And Mike, we weren't expecting kind of this at all. We hadn't heard much about Raoni Barcelos. Definitely a little bit of a journeyman, I'd say. And Peyton, yeah, I mean, the guy's 25 years old, coming up like one of the biggest prospects we've seen. Good marketing guy, just a very interesting guy coming in for the fights. And yeah, I mean, Raoni outstruck him, out grappled him, just in every facet of the fight. Peyton Talbot got completely exposed.
Yeah.
We never really seen like a prospect like this kind of exposed in every single facet of the fight, where he was just dominated pretty much everywhere. I mean, I think yeah, even Barcelos
I
got
think
him
he
on
might have
significant strikes as
I think the
well.
striking was even. Would you think that? Or would you
Yeah, the
think?
striking was definitely pretty
Yeah,
even. I think once Raoni kind of realized that he could like match with Peyton, then the striking was definitely like a little bit fun to watch. But I mean, it was a straight right. There was like I think 9 almost 10 minutes of takedown control time Barcelos had.
that's
I mean,
crazy.
he just once he got him on the ground, he did not let him up. And yeah, uh, definitely had a couple submission attempts and all that. And it was a fun fight to watch if you're a Brazilian UFC fan. If
Hmm.
you're a Peyton Talbot fan, which what a lot of the fans definitely are, then shucks, man.
Yeah.
He
I want to go back to the betting you were talking about, how Peyton was a big favorite. It's crazy because like Peyton hasn't really proven anything before that fight. I think the only reason he was a heavy favorite is because he had all the hype and he wasn't really that good coming into it. Most of his fights are first round knockouts, and
mhm.
Raoni Barcelos is like a veteran. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
just goes to show how like the betting odds really depend on the hype of the fighter too. And
Hmm.
and look at Merab versus Umar. We're gonna talk about that soon, but the Umar was a big favorite, and look what happened there.
Yeah, my goodness. What a fight to talk about to get into. Yeah, I definitely like I'm a fan of Peyton Tablet as you know, we're young guys. We
He's
definitely
our
align
age.
with him
That's
more.
crazy, bro, right?
Yeah, he's right at our age. Like we
Yeah.
definitely love watching him fight, want to see him successful. He's a cool dude. I mean, I love the tattoo. I love the tattoos he's got, and I don't know. Maybe cutting the hair was maybe an issue because I like the fro that he's got.
Mhm.
Is kind of like he's kind of in the mix right now, where he's got this like small fro, but it's like not a fro. I don't know, Peyton. You got to make a decision there, buddy. But
Yeah.
I definitely love to see more Peyton Thomas. Definitely not going to be the last we've seen of him.
Mhm.
Um, so he's definitely going to come back stronger and better. Definitely got some things to work on. And yeah, this is kind of one of the losses that you need to see in a prospect to see to really he really needed to see the holes in his game, and he kind of definitely figured out there's several holes for him to fill. No pun intended, as he's got the whole tattoo on his body. Uh,
Yeah.
but, uh, but yeah, we definitely love to see more of Peyton, and I'm definitely excited for his next fight, man. We need some more guys in the bantamweight division, as you were saying. Need some more bodies in there, and
We
it
got
definitely
Ri-
be love.
we got
It'd be awesome to
Rinya.
see him up there for sure in the top 10.
Yeah, we got Rinya, we got Peyton. I'm not hopefully I think there are a few more prospects, but that this division
Hmm.
was really stacked like 2, 3 years ago, and
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't been hearing much of it now, so I hope it gets stacked. I hope we get
I
more.
It's kind of interesting because it's for I think for bantamweight, it's one of the divisions where, yeah, like a few years ago, you go back to lightweight and the top guys that were all top are still there. You
Hmm.
go back to bantamweight a few years ago, the top guys that were all there, like none of them are there.
Bro.
You got guys like Cejudo, you got guys Dillashaw, Dominic, all these like guys that were just camping the top of the division for so long. Now all these, Aljo, Merab,
Hmm.
Umar, and it's just nonstop. The bantamweight division definitely one of the funner divisions to watch, and I'm really liking the mix of all the guys we at the top there right now.
Yeah, dude, that division is on fire. It probably
Hmm.
is more stacked than lightweight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I definitely say it's a deep division for
Mhm.
sure. And so yeah, like we say, from 135 to probably 170, 185 is where we see the deepest divisions. So definitely a lot of fun there.
Mhm.
And we're gonna move on to our next fight here, which was Kevin Holland versus Ryzen de Ritter. And my goodness, dude, I mean, Kevin Holland, this guy just proves that he needs to probably go down to 170, I think. Go back down to 170. 185 is not going to cut it. Yeah, he could probably stand with any 185er. He's got the speed, maybe not the diverse striking too much, but when he gets taken down, he's got absolutely nothing to offer on the ground. I mean, just zero. Yeah, you can go back to the fight with Jacare where he knocked him out from the ground, but I could tell you Jacare was not expecting that at all for that to happen. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, DeRitter just took him down, first round sub, very easy. I think Kevin barely got any strikes off. And yeah, it was like he took him down straight away, like 3 minutes of control time, and that's how long the fight was too. So not much else to say about Kevin there. What do you have any thoughts about Kevin's future, Umer?
Yeah, yeah, the fight was so this is who Kevin Holland is. I think Kevin Holland's biggest problem is his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that he could do better, but he chooses not to. Like if he was more disciplined, he would have went down to 170 and he would have worked on his wrestling. But he sees the UFC as a game more than something to take very seriously. So he really wants to instead of practicing takedown defense, just ask, can you not take me down? And he just wants to have fun, look for a quick knockout. So Kevin is that
Yeah,
guy who has a lot of potential, but he doesn't want to he doesn't want to be on his full potential, if you know what I mean.
yeah. We love
Yeah.
watching Kevin fight. He's definitely a showboater. We saw in the fight last night that even on the ground, he's still talking to the ref, Frank Trigg. He's talking to him, saying all these things. And it's fun, definitely good for, popularity wise, but in our opinion, you need to be good. Like you need to be elite to have that level of just like, okay, we get it, you're in the UFC, you can probably fucks anybody up, on the street. But when it comes to like these elite fights, which you're trying to get up there in the rankings, we know you want to be champion, but he's got to really, yeah, he needs to have like some arc or something where he needs to just become the serious guy and just like take everybody out.
Let's
But
be honest, that's never gonna happen.
it's never gonna happen.
And Kevin Holland is just gonna be a journeyman slash gatekeeper. That really is his career. And let's talk about the other guy, Reindeer. I'm gonna call him Reindeer because I don't know his real name.
Reindeer, the
Yeah,
Ritter, the Dutch guy, man.
yeah. So the Dutch guy. So dude, I looked up his record. Like apparently this is his second UFC fight. He's a former ONE FC contender. So he's pretty good. I think he has a
Hmm.
record of 19-2. And yeah, he's 34 years old, but age isn't as much of a problem the heavier you go in the divisions. So he could be a legit top five contender, and I would like to see him more. This is in this fight. This is my first fight watching him, and we've only seen him grapple. And for him to submit Kevin early,
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Well, let's test him out. Let's give him a top 10 guy. I think Kevin Holland's top 15. Let's give him another top 15. Let's get this guy going. He's a good contender.
yeah, I definitely like to see more of him. Like one, we definitely like to see when somebody's a specialty in one aspect. When they're just straight grappling, you kind of like to see how far they'll go. And we kind of saw these type of stuff with early UFC, and then there's some specific guys who are really good. And let's see if we're going like this was a middleweight fight. I'd say we could probably give this guy Michel Pereira. That wouldn't be a bad fight. Michel's number 15. I think Kevin's out of the rankings right now.
He moved
He
up to
might still
middle.
be in the rankings for 170, but I don't think he is actually. But yeah, Michel Pereira, we got at number 15. Shara is 14. We know he's fighting next
MVP
week
next week. Yeah.
against is that no, he's not
MVP.
fighting Imamov. He's fighting who's he fighting again next week?
MVP. Michael Venom
MVP.
Page.
Yeah, yeah, we got Michael Venom Page, and so kind of a bad fight for Shara, I'd say, only because MVP's unranked.
Mhm.
Um, and so I kind of would love to see Shara fight somebody in the top 15, but I think they're all sort of booked at the moment. Definitely some good guys in the mix, but yeah, De Ritter definitely a great fight to watch. Not much to say off it other than the fact that it's Kevin Holland's takedown defense, so there's not much to say to go with your fighting. You took down Kevin Holland. Congratulations. That's like
True.
90% of all
You're
the
right.
people he fought,
Yeah,
and so yeah. I mean, not much else to say there, but congrats to him. Definitely would love to see more of him. And 19-2, great record. So definitely coming up on the come up. So we have the next fight here being Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. And I'll be honest, I used to be a big fan of Sergey. I thought he was going to be a big dude coming up. He was betting underdog here. And Jailton Almeida, we haven't heard too much of Jailton since he was knocked out by Curtis last year. And I mean, like,
hmm
that really tanked his stock when he got knocked out by a predominant wrestler. Then he came back and won this next fight. And then, yeah, when he first came in UFC, we were like, this guy looks like the blueprint to beat pretty much all the top guys. He was good on the striking, good on the wrestling. And yeah, he showed it right with the Spivak fight. Did not waste any time again. They were scrapping. I mean, they were going back and forth. And Almeida got the TKO, the KO right at the end of the first round.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I really like Jalton Almeida as a prospect. He's really good. He's
Hmm.
besides Tom Aspinall, and Francis Ngannou, he's different from most heavyweights. He's not fat like most heavyweights are, and also he's very I like the way he fights. He fights similarly to Khabib. He takes you down,
Hmm.
he beats the crap out of you. So I really like his style, and it's a great win for him, and I really want him to fight Tom Aspinall in the future. And he's doing good in the heavyweight division, and I want to see him fight more.
Yeah, definitely love to see Jailton get up there in the fights. Exciting fighter, like you said. He's not like the typical heavyweight fighter we see. He's probably sitting around, 240 to 250, which like one of the perfect sizes. Just guys, I think yeah, fast, good on the feet, good on the ground. And yeah, once we see him get more skillful, definitely some more fights into him. When he faces that top five, it's going to be some banger fights like left and right for sure. And so I'm definitely excited to see more Jailton Almeida. And yeah, definitely a exciting fighter to watch.
For sure, man. And now the three most exciting fights of the card. Let's talk about Jamal Hill versus Yuri
Hmm.
Prochazka. Wait, it says running out of time. It's only been 10 minutes. Do
Because
we
I think
only
we
have
started at 12 or like 12:05. We got like 40 minutes. Okay, yeah. So to get right into our Yuri Prohaska Jamal Hill fight break, little discussion. I mean, I expected a lot of fireworks out of this fight, and we got some fireworks pretty good. This was one of the best fights of the night. I think personally one of the better fights I've seen in a long time, in a while. Just in terms of excitement, going back and forth. Yuri and Jamal were hitting each other. They were getting hit by each other a lot, and definitely they were taking punches and hitting with them two more. Yuri's movement is just like Rogan said during the fight, just so hard to predict. This guy is bouncing around left and right, head movement left and right. He was really worked on his head movement. You could tell during the camp because he was sniping Jamal from angles you would never even think of. And Jamal, credit to him, he was taking a lot of Yuri's punches. He definitely fought for as long as he can. But Yuri, once you get that solid mix of just those weird angles with the mix of the power, you cannot stop it. I mean, the only guy that's been able to stop it is Alex. And so, what are your thoughts on that fight, Umar?
um I thought so before the fight happened, I thought Jamal was gonna win because Jamal is known to have knockout power and he's very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And as we both know, Yuri leaves his chin in the air a lot. So if I was a betting man, I would have put my money on Jamal Hill. But Yuri proved me wrong. He improved his defense surprisingly. He picked his shots much better, and I'm very impressed with Yuri. I think it's a very impressive win to beat Hill, and I think he should fight. I think him versus Carlos Ulberg would be a good next fight.
Mm-hmm.
Him versus Carlos Ulberg in Czech Republic, I think that'll be a great fight night. So that's what I think that should happen next after yesterday, and we'll see about the Yuri versus Alex rematch. I don't think that should happen. Alex beat him twice. Nobody wants to see it. So yeah, let's get that going. Yuri versus Carlos Ulberg.
Yeah, yeah. I think if we do see, because Yuri did look like he picked up more of his defense for sure in the fight. Granted, Jamal was hitting him with some good shots, but Yuri, he's just like a way too like a bouncy type of like just off a spring kind of guy. It looks like you wind him up like those robot toys, it just goes, because this guy who's just bouncing and flying all over the place. So my risk is that, because he was able to finish him in the third round. But when it comes to championship rounds, we've seen this guy tire out, his movement slows down, and he was quite readable in terms of the head movement or lack of thereof head movement. I think that's why we saw in the second Alex fight where right at the beginning of the second round, Alex is just like, I'm just gonna fucking head kick him right in the beginning, and that's exactly what happened because he knows Yuri is just not known for moving his head too much. He just stays right in there, and it looks like Yuri really worked on that with this fight, and so I definitely love if he is able to, I think one or two more fights, I would not be opposed to giving him a third Alex fight. If Alex is still, in the mix wanting to fight at 205, if he goes up to heavyweight, we'll see. But definitely a lot of fun there. Jamal honestly did a good job overall. It was a fun fight, exciting fight Jamal put on. And I definitely love to see, I think, well, in terms of a opponent for Jamal, it'd be interesting to kind of point out who we think he should get. But I want to run through the rankings real quick, and then
Yeah, I'll
I'll
do that too.
give my best like determinative answer on that. I'd say for Jamal, I feel like, I feel like maybe I don't know. There's so many. Actually, there's a good amount of
Maybe
names. You got
Khalil Roundtree
Rocket.
is good, right?
I think Khalil Roundtree would
Yeah.
be a good matchup for Jamal Hill, dude. Honestly,
Hmm.
I know that I know we only gave, he got a fight offer because of, just because it fits Alex's style better for the fights. That's why they didn't want to give Ankalaev to Alex.
That
But,
was so stupid of them.
um,
That's a whole different conversation, but I'll leave it
yeah,
on
we're
that
not going
for
to
now.
gloss over here. We'll gloss over the fact that the UFC just like didn't want to see a wrestler
Yeah.
actually fight Alex,
So annoying of
and
them.
they threw the number seventh ranked over guys like Rakic. Oberg. Oberg is ranked higher than Khalil Roundtree, which granted, I think Oberg would have put on a better fight than Khalil for sure. But no,
He's
we just
like
want to
an
see some standing and banging.
yeah, he's like another version of Alex Pereira, Carlos Ulberg. He's also got
Yeah, and I mean,
hands, and he's got a
yeah,
deadly left hook.
right, like the 205 division is not too deep. I'd say like the top 15, the top 15 is just like the extent of the skill of the UFC of that division. Like number 15 is Alonzo Menifield, and that guy is ass,
For
when
sure.
it comes to fighting. So definitely want to see some more guys get in there. But like we said, once it hits 205, 225, heavyweight, you're not going to get a lot. So let's move on to the next fight. We have Merab versus Nurmagomedov. And dude, definitely this guy just shut down Umar's thing. We kind of seen it with like these wrestler fights where, similar to like Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar, similar to Colby Camaro, where you just get these insane striking battles. And I think Merab's striking was kind of subpar until then, but he definitely came out swinging and banging with Umar. Hit him with some good shots and just shut it down for the whole rest of the fight.
Dude, I gotta ask, like, what is Merab doing with his cardio? His cardio is better than a guy who runs on mountains every day. What is this guy doing with his
Yeah,
cardio? I don't think there's a steroid or EPO for cardio. Like, bro, his cardio is crazy, man. But
yeah.
no one is ever gonna out cardio Merab. Now that he only fights 5 rounds, you have to take this guy out early. And
Yeah,
yeah, Umar slowly gassed out more and more. He exposed the Dagestani. He beat the Khabib team. Merab achieved so much that night, so
yeah.
good for him, and I'm happy for him. He proved a lot of haters wrong. Coming
He
from an
proved a
Umar
lot of
fan,
haters wrong, turned the crowd against him, got them
yeah,
fired up with showboating. I mean, he just put himself into like superstardom almost with that fight. It was very good, great effort by Merab against the Dagestani team. Just and granted, this is like really the first real loss we've seen from Team Khabib. We saw Islam's knockout, which was kind of a fluke because Islam's striking just wasn't as good. He went right for it, but this one he just beat him, Umar, fair and square, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I know, I know. So what I want to see for Umar next is I think we do Umar versus Peter Yan in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they probably won't do that, but that's my dream scenario. And for Merab, we do Merab versus Sean O'Malley rematch only because Sean deserves a rematch and that fight was close.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sean deserves a rematch. He definitely is probably just straight working on wrestling at this point when the champ is just a dominant wrestler. And yeah, I mean, we've seen there was definitely some moments where Umar caught Merab early, was definitely hurting him. Merab was smiling, and that's just a clear sign that he's hurt.
Mhm.
And so I think if Umar would have pressed it on in the first couple rounds, that was probably his best shot. But yeah,
Mhm.
great fight overall. Merab, what a champion he's going to be. And we'll see if how long he can hold this title on for.
For sure, yeah. He might surpass Dominic Cruz as the GOAT, but we have literally 1 minute, so we'll move on to the next fight. Sucks that Islam versus Arman pulled out. It's annoying that his opponents pull out of his championship fights. But we all expected this. We all knew he was gonna submit. He was gonna beat Renato Moicano.
Yeah,
And now, on to the next man. What do you think?
I don't know what's going on next for Islam, man. I think 170 is in store for him. There's really no other person because Danny even said that uh, Arman's not going to get an immediate shot. He's got to work his way back up. So unfortunate for him. I don't really know what's left in store for Islam at 155. I think he said he could be a possible three-division champion, and he wants that double champion status. He really wants it. So 170 in store for him. I think a mega fight with Shavkat would definitely like be unbelievable
First, we
to
see
watch.
winner Shafkat and Bilal, and then we
Yeah,
see Islam.
yeah. I
Then we
think
see
I think
them fight
definitely if we
Islam.
get that type of fight, I think Islam versus Bilal, Islam